It will be there. It will be available there on YouTube as well. I will upload it there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Have any of you tried integrating Splunk to ServiceNow or any other ITSM tool?
Still now, no, no.
Okay. So we will be discussing about Splunk to ServiceNow integration, how to get the data from ServiceNow tables, and also create incidents or events to ServiceNow using the APIs. So, what is an API? API is something called application programming interface. Okay, so we will be collecting the data using the REST API endpoint URLs from ServiceNow. So nowadays, all the data of any particular application or particular database can be exposed for accessing from the external system. So I would give you a best example. If you are applying for any loans with some bank, okay, first if there is any agent who is trying to check for your availability or something like that, what they'll do is they'll gather few documents like PAN card or Aadhaar card, and they'll check for the CIBIL score and all. So for checking the CIBIL score and all, they'll not be having the access to the entire system. Maybe government is holding your CIBIL score, something like that, let's say. Okay, so but they'll not be having entire system access. So when those guys are authorized only to access your CIBIL score. Okay, so in the similar way, there will be only few documents, few details exposed to the external internet. And if you also go to buying any SIM card and all, if so they need more documents because SIM card purchasing is something critical. So what government will do is they'll expose thumbprint of you also to authenticate. So in the similar way, when ServiceNow is storing all their incidents, changes, tasks in their databases, what they'll do is they'll put those incidents or any other information available over some APIs. Okay, so on APIs, we will be able to access the data of them. And when we will be able to access their data, we cannot directly access it using some URLs. When we have some specific privileges, we will be able to access their APIs. Okay, using those APIs only, we are going to do this integration. And nowadays, everybody, I mean, almost all the add-ons will use the similar method only. If, for example, if you go to AWS Cloud add-on, GCP or Azure, so what you need is the first thing you need is you need some authentication, right? Because first thing is you need an authentication. So if you talk about Azure, maybe for Azure it may differ, like Azure account ID and security, something like that. Just the details might get differ. The first thing you have to configure would be authentication, and then you will go to inputs. Inputs are all already configured with the required Python scripts in the backend. So when you give some details in the inputs based on the authentication information you are having, it will be successfully collecting. So it made so easy to collect the information. And how it collects, there will be APIs, this add-on scripts will be trying to access. Uh, Without doing any delay, let's quickly get into this add-on. So I logged in into Splunk now. I'll have to go to apps, manage apps. You can go to browse more apps. Yes. Okay, here you have to search for ServiceNow add-on. The Splunk add-on for ServiceNow. So when you want to install, you have to click on install. I have already installed this add-on. That's why I can see update, update or open. Uh, I think this ServiceNow is actually little older version. I have installed like few months ago. That's why I can see it update option. Otherwise, you will see open option here. So which means I already have it available. Okay. So ideally, if you are working in production environment, you have to do this on the deployer. You will not be doing it on the search head directly. Okay. Whatever the search head you are using for writing queries and all right, you are not supposed to do that. All right. So after installing, I'll go to, I have not done any configuration here. I just wanted to show that. Okay, you don't have anything configured under configuration and inputs. Okay, okay. So let's just check from here and so Splunk base. Let's check few details in Splunk base. So what does this add-on can do? So the Splunk add-on for ServiceNow allows Splunk software administrator to collect data from ServiceNow and create incidents or events. Okay, so that is all the things it can do. It can collect information from those REST APIs, like be it changes or events or incidents or any other CMDB information also. Okay, and we can create incidents or events. You can check the compatibility here. If you are using older version of Splunk Enterprise like 9.1 something, and you can check if the current version available here is, compatible with your Splunk or not. If this is not compatible, you can go to version history and check what version of Splunk Enterprise are you are using. And you can download the older version of ServiceNow add-on here. Okay. Let's go to details or any other tabs here and let's see if we can find out any documents. You can directly search in Google or you can directly access here. We can see some documentation here. This will take us to the complete configuration and installation of add-on service now. Okay, so you don't have to remember all these things. It's a pretty straightforward thing. Okay, so as I said, let's go back to Splunk. You have inputs where you have a lot of inputs created predefined, and there is one more tab which is configuration. Under the configuration, you have service account, ServiceNow proxy setup, this thing. So what is a ServiceNow account? ServiceNow account, this is where you give username and password. Username and password of an account which will be able to collect the data from ServiceNow APIs and also to write. If we have write access, then only we will be able to create incidents to the ServiceNow. Okay, so ServiceNow proxy setup. If you are in production and if your deployer or search heads doesn't have the direct access to the internal external internet, then you have to enable this. So most probably you will get this details also from ServiceNow team or some network team in your organization. Logging, we won't change this logging. Okay, it should always be info unless you have some specific purpose for changing this. API selection. So here there are two API selections. Okay, so let's click for more details here. What does this API means? Mm, Somewhere we have to see. Okay. Okay, here, if you have a look at this, if you are facing issues related to duplication of incident, more than one incident that has the same correlation ID. So when Splunk collecting the data from ServiceNow, there are chances of duplicate incidents. Okay, when you are using the table API. So that is why Splunk suggests to switching to import set API. So as per this documentation, it is recommended to use import set API because there are chances of duplicate records when you use table API. So I am just using the import set API as suggested in the group. Okay. I have not changed anything in the logging. I have not added anything here because my search head is having the internet access here. I am only changing this particular option here and save. We are yet to add an account. So in the ServiceNow account, as I said, you need to get the username and password from ServiceNow team. Team will give you the required username and password. So because here we don't have any ServiceNow team, I have created a developer instance of ServiceNow so we can see how it works. Let me log in. If you also want to directly test it on your own environment, how you can do is you can go to ServiceNow developer program and you can request for a developer instance. I'll give you the link also there. Let me show you ServiceNow developer instance. Okay, you can simply sign up and you can start building a test instance of your ServiceNow here. You can navigate to this or you can just search ServiceNow developer instance. That's it. I have signed up there and you don't need any debit card, credit card, anything. You just have to sign up. Okay. I am here. So when you click after building it, you will see an option here and there are a lot of settings available here. Okay. Where is my instance? If you go to this instance action, you can see, right, lot of options of your instance. So if you click on manage instance password, right, manage instance password, please remember this. Here you have instance name. This is my test instance that ServiceNow has gave me. This is the URL. This is the username and this is the password. So ideally, you get the details from ServiceNow team. Here, what I'm going to use are directly the main admin credentials because I'm just having a ServiceNow test instance here. Okay, so that is the reason I'm going to use this admin credentials only. In the actual environment, ServiceNow team will give you the credentials and also authentication tag. Okay, I'm trying to access this ServiceNow URL, which is available in manage instance password. Okay. So I have to log in, right? Admin. What is the password I have here? This is the password. Okay, now I'm able to log in. Great. So I will go to the configuration. Now we have to add an account. Add account. Account name could be anything. Okay, it doesn't have to. Okay, I'll just give a name like this. Okay, and URL. Here, the great thing with Splunk is it will give you few details at the very bottom of every you know input, so you can understand. Enter the URL, for example, like this. So what we do is we have instance URL here. Okay, I'll go copy, paste it. So basic authentication. Right now we are using username and password, which is a basic authentication. So if ServiceNow team tells you, hey, you have to select the OAuth 2.0 authentication, and they will give you client ID, client secret, everything. Okay. You will get these details from them only. All right. Here we are testing from everything from our end. So I will copy the password. Okay, I'll give you some incorrect password. Let's see what happens. So it will not be able to authenticate. Okay, when you save itself, it will check whether these credentials are able to access this particular URL or not. Now it will save. Okay, done. So when it has saved successfully means you can confirm that the username and password are correct. Right? All right, that's it. We created an account, so we can do anything on this particular ServiceNow instance now. Okay, I have nothing here, right? Let me go to all and incidents in the ServiceNow. Because this is a test instance, the good thing with ServiceNow is it will be having a lot of test incidents already created. If I click on all, see, there are more incidents. They were, created just for testing purpose. Okay. Now, what is our job? We have to go into inputs. Okay, if you can have a look, change request, change task, CMDB, CMDB CI, you have, let me go to 15. You have total of 23 inputs. So, which means 23 different things we can collect using a problem, incident, everything. If you expand any one of them, right, input name is this, change collection interval is 60. 60 means 60 seconds. So you are collecting it for every 1 minute. Sys updated on. So this is the time field from the ServiceNow team for all the incidents. Like for every event, we have underscore time in Splunk, right? In the similar way, you have sys updated on time on the ServiceNow end. So there will be a ID field which will be unique across entire ServiceNow for one specific record. This is currently disabled and it is in the main index. And we have not enabled them. That's why you see everything like this. Okay. So let's say this is the service now DB. Okay. So as we discussed, we will be having everything available over the API. Okay. So let's say for incident, you will be having one table. For change, you will be having one table. For task, you will be having one table. Okay. So this is how it works. So when we want to collect the data to Splunk, so you use get method. So what does get method do? Get method just collect the information from those API tables. So for incidents, by default, ServiceNow will store data in incident API table. Okay. By using get method, Splunk will collect those information, and you should be having enough privileges to collect the information using get method. Okay. So all these inputs use get method only. Why I'm explaining this get method and all is because when you go for any interview or you need to understand what happens actually in the backend, you need to understand this. Okay. So I don't want to create input, or let's create input. Uh, let's check incidents collection. Okay. So account. So whatever the account you have created under the configuration, you will see it. Collection interval is 60 seconds. Okay. Table to collect data from. You see everything is popping up. Why? This is not coming, just randomly. Because you have selected this account, Splunk has inquired what are the tables that are available. And you see incident, problem, everything. So right now we are only focusing on incident. Okay. So time field of the database table. So by default, this is the time field of ServiceNow record. So we will use it. In case if ServiceNow team is using some different field name for security purpose and all, they will themselves tell you that you have to use some different field for time. Okay. All right. So start date. Start date should be in this format. Default is 1 week ago. What does it mean? So if you don't specify anything here, by default, you are going to collect the incident information from the last 1 week. Okay. So let's see how our incidents are there from 2016 and 18. So what I'll do is I'll collect data from so long back. So if you see Y, which means year, right? So I will collect data from 2000 year. Okay. So month I gave DD space HH colon colon SS. Okay. Perfect. If you leave it blank, it will collect data from 1 week. If you specifically mention from this date I want to collect the incidents, then it will check in the table. Only incidents after this date will be collected. I'm not going to touch anything else here. Okay. The index is default. So default means we are going to store the data in the main index. So what I have filled here is some random, any name you can keep it here. Just it should make sense to you what instance you are going to collect. You need to select the particular account from where you want to collect the incidents. Interval time, because this is in the incident, we have selected to collect the data from incident table. That's it. Let me create. Okay. So I have created it, but it has not been enabled. I will enable it. Done. This is enabled. Okay. There is one more thing you have to keep in mind that so for reading the data, see for security reasons, if you are going to some mall or anywhere, you may be having entry at some point and exit at some point. So in the same way, for writing the incidents to ServiceNow, you might be having a different table. So for collecting the incidents, what is the API table we are having? Incident. So there is possibility that you may be having a different table for writing. Okay, for some security reason. So in my production environment, we ServiceNow team was using this for creating incident. So when you want to send some incident to ServiceNow, you have to use this table name and this endpoint URL. Okay. So when you are writing incidents, you are technically using post method. Okay. You are writing some incident to this table using the post method. When you use get, you are simply collecting the information. You are not doing anything. Whatever is available, you are collecting. So there is possibility that there could be different table names for writing and reading. Okay. In our case, it is same. In this test service now, both the tables are same. Okay. So let's go and check if we have some data coming in or not. Great. Now we can see data. Let me keep it all time. There are 67 incidents, right? So if you have a look at the source, this is the source. Source type is ServiceNow colon incident. We have never selected this service type, but still you are able to see. Why? Because whatever the table you are collecting, based on that service, Splunk will assign you, okay, this is the source type you have to collect data because the log format, structured in this source type only. So it will automatically assign that and you will see each and every tiny information of your incident and you see endpoint. So this is where your endpoint is available. On that endpoint, you are accessing the incident table. We call it as endpoint API endpoint URL. Okay. So you are successfully able to collect the data of incident. If you need change, you just have to collect the data from change table. That's it. If you want to collect the CMDB data, you have the table name CMDB already available. In production, if you have the different table name for CMDB data, you ServiceNow team will tell you and you will simply modify the name here. All right. Any doubts in collecting the data? Yes, Navin, please, if there is any specific doubt that you have, you can raise your hand and I'll ask you please.
So, can we directly use the Splunk login ID to flush this thing, the ServiceNow API?
Can we use this?
Yeah, here.
Okay.
So you have created the ServiceNow account, and through that ID, you are fetching the logs from the ServiceNow.
Yes.
Yes, but can we directly use the Splunk login credential to flush the ServiceNow logs? Anyhow, we have configured the REST API, and we are getting the logs.
So if you are really good at scripting and all, you can have a look at the, okay, we will look at how does it look in the backend.
Yeah.
If you can write the scripts using those credentials, yes, you can do that. But I am not expert in the scripting, so I don't know. Let's have a look at what is the script that runs. Let's go to apps, Splunk TA. Mm, should be in bin. Event service now incident. What does it do? Okay, so this script actually executes. uh, these are the scripts which execute when you select from the input.
Okay.
So if you can write these scripts on your own and directly run, you don't need any add-on. Add-on is because we may not be having everybody may not be having the script knowledge and all, and it is just like ready-made thing. for everybody to use quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And okay, let's collect. So I was telling you endpoint, endpoint, endpoint. So what is it endpoint? API now. Okay, I think I used the correct one. That's great. So I'll show you how does that endpoint looks like. Okay, if you see, this is the actual thing it is collecting in the backend, right? So from where we are collecting the data, this is the table name, and we have also given the URL, right? URL is actually coming directly from the account information. We have given this particular URL, and this is the table name. So in between whatever you are having is the endpoint information. And what do you have here? You have responses. Okay, if I expand the response, there you have result. Okay, what is there inside the result? You have number, incident number. So you have each and every information about your incident. So this is what you are actually collecting using this API URL endpoint and incident table. If you want to access CMDB, you can access CMDB also, but we are unable to understand, but Splunk source type will be able to understand what does it mean. Okay. So maybe now it makes more sense what are we collecting and from where we are collecting.
Yes.
So in the similar way, if we want to write some incidents to here, either we can use, I mean, whatever the table name that ServiceNow team will give you, you have to use that. In our case, it is the same table. So we are going to push something from the Splunk to this table using the post method. Post method means just writing to it. This is called post method. Someone else was raising their hands. Yeah, Sahitya, please go ahead.
So we need not to whitelist any ports to allow the traffic, right? From if we have
Uh,
to.
that should actually be there. Actually,
Okay.
if this particular ServiceNow add-on is having access to external internet, that is fine.
Okay.
It will not use any specific port, but ServiceNow should have access to reach this Splunk, ServiceNow and Splunk communication. There is no specific port to be enabled. Basically, if it is having network access, then it is fine. Okay, now let's go to post method. So till get method, I hope everybody is clear. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to some alerts, or let's create some sample alerts. Uh, I'll create an alert. I'm just creating some random alert. Okay, so let's create an alert, or let's properly create an alert from alert section. New alert. internal index card. I don't give any description. Don't want to take much time. Scheduled. I'll run it. I'll run this to check. I'll schedule this to run for every minute. Okay. Because we need more number of results is greater than. Okay. All right. So this is the important part. As soon as you install the ServiceNow add-on, you will see. Okay. So sorry. This is. I'll use white theme. Otherwise, it doesn't look like Splunk at all. Sorry for all the dark theme. Just to protect my eyes, I always use this dark theme. Okay. So you see two options: ServiceNow event integration, ServiceNow incident integration. You don't have to enable it anywhere else. They will come by default under the alert actions once you install this ServiceNow add-on. Okay. So what is the other place if you want to check or do modifications under the settings, under alert actions? All these are email, sending alert, sending incident is alert action only. Okay, right? So you see ServiceNow event integration, incident integration. If you want to check the usage statistics and log events, you can check them. So that will just run some particular thing in the backend, right? Okay. Let's go back to our alert. I want to create an incident. Okay. It is checking what are the whatever the accounts that we are having available. Okay, this is the thing. So only this URL, right? Till here. And that URL is actually already coming under this particular account. So to make it easy, scripted REST endpoint to create incident at API slash API namespace slash API ID slash relevant path. So for example, API now table and this. So for incident, they have given one example in table name, which is different here. So that's what I was telling you guys. There is possibility for writing the incidents postman. Okay, so in what is the first thing here? API. They have given already the format. So slash API slash API namespace. API namespace is now actually the ServiceNow team using this namespace. It is like some folder. Okay, so from ServiceNow end, this is the namespace, and then API ID. So there we are trying to access the table there, right? So that is what a table ID will be. Now we are collecting the data from API tables. So table and then relevant path. Relevant path means whatever the table name you are collecting. Sorry, whatever the table name you are trying to write the data. Okay. So technically for writing and reading, we have same thing. Now you will be sending some message to here. Message means you will be creating an incident there. So, okay. So you have a lot of options available here. So what I'll do is I'll just give something in the short description. So I am an incident from Splunk. Okay, I'm not going to select anything. I will simply save it. Let's wait and check.
So the correlation ID, which is something we give manually, or it will create automatically because it's a
Mm,
unique.
that has to be given after discussing with the ServiceNow team. Why is that used is uh, if you want to whenever any alert is created, instead of creating a new incident, if you want to update on the same incident, you have to talk to ServiceNow team and understand how their correlation ID works. Because it differs from organization to organization. So then you have to give it. Most probably, we don't give anything specific here. It gets created by default. But after talking to them only, we can confirm what has to be used there.
Yeah.
Let's put some filter to all. First, let's just check if our alert has run or not. No, why? We one 9 1 now. Something is every minute. That's perfectly fine. What is happening? Mhm.
It's in IFT, I think.
Yeah, I mean IST only. I'm in Indian time. Okay, I'll force it to run immediately. Okay, okay. Sorry. It's been so long. I used cron schedule. It should be star by one for it to run every 1 minute. My bad. Okay, now it will run. Okay, in the meantime, it runs at 8:19. Do you guys have any questions in get and post method? Okay, mm, let's wait here. Okay, it's 8:19. 8:19. Great. I am an incident from Splunk. That's it. You are able to create incident from ServiceNow and the Splunk integration. If you open it, this is how it looks like. Okay. So when you create from the Splunk, he will be the guy. System administrator will be the guy who created the incident because it has been automatically created. So these are the default values when you don't fill anything like state and all. So if you also want to do some modifications there, let's say you want to directly get the message from the short description dollar. And also you want to what things we can change here. Firstly, let's have a look. Urgency you can change. So what I'll do is urgency I'll keep it to 1. Okay. Urgency, I'll keep it to 1. And impact also I can see, yeah, where is impact? So right now I don't, impact is 3. So impact I will give 2. Based on that, priority will be automatically created. So okay, I don't want to category. What will be there under the category? Category is not mentioned here. Category is email. No, this is sub category is inquiry. Category is inquiry. I will save it. Let's see. So here, by default, whatever the fields are available, when you are filling something in the category, in the backend there will be in something in the script which will be picking up this value. In production, we cannot say that category is always uh, as configured by default in the IDAM. So in those cases, what you have to talk to ServiceNow team and ask them is, okay, what fields you want to get in your ServiceNow? If they tell you, for example, we want to send imp urgency. Let's say they have a different field name. So you can see pass double pipe assign delimited values. Example, comments equals to can't read email and the pipe description equals to user. So okay, I want to pass urgency equals to 1, like this custom fields. They have a different field name. Okay. And what else? If you want to add more, you will add 2 pipe symbols. My impact equals to 3. Like this, you can pass if ServiceNow team is having any custom field names. Other than this, here you have category directly, so no issues. If you have the category field name differently at ServiceNow, you have to do this. Okay, understood?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So you see the count of internal is blah blah blah. High, you got high based on the impact. It has created the priority. So you can fill all the other informations like color, everything. So whatever you have in color, you can cross check in this API. How is the color is looking like? So based on that specific value, you can fill each and every information here and you will be able to see that in the service now. Okay, so you have done the service now to Splunk bidirectional integration. You are able to collect data and you are also able to create incidents and events to service now team. If there are no questions, I think we are good to close the call.
His side. Suppose
Yeah.
the resource has worked on the incident and he
Okay.
has closed. So that is coming back to the Splunk like it is, it will get updated at the Splunk level. That incident got closed like that. That is there.
Basically that is there. We use that thing mostly with Splunk Enterprise Security or Splunk ITSI things. That thing will be working mostly with correlation ID. So as far as I worked using the correlation ID, the same incident will be getting updated. And if you also want to check if the incident is closed at ServiceNow end and you want to reflect the same thing in Splunk also, or if you directly want to close from the Splunk end, if you close from Splunk, it should also close in ServiceNow end. So for that, there has to be more things done here.
So enterprise is not having that functionality. support?
Enterprise is having, but I think it has to be done under Splunk Enterprise Security, where that correlation is available. There will be other settings and roles you have to enable. It's not that it is not having the capability, Splunk Enterprise is having the capability. There are some additional configurations required actually.
Okay.
For example, you don't have incident review option here, notable events, those things which you have in Splunk Enterprise Security. So only from that page you can actually do this thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the purpose still with Splunk Enterprise is like just creating and getting that data. And if you want to update on the same instant, you can use this one. So as you said, if you want to do that kind of work notes update or if closing, the state should be knowing and all is, you can use Splunk Enterprise Security or Splunk ITSI. There will be different roles in the Splunk itself where you can do that.
Okay. Got it.
Can
Okay.
we also, create the inference from the data we got from a forwarder directly, or we have to do
Yeah,
it on the?
you can do anything. You can do anything. You just have all the information. That's why I created some test which is just getting the count. For example,
Let's take if I have a forwarder from an endpoint and it's fetching the data based on some specific conditions, it has to
say
create an alert in the
index
service.
equals to, for example, forwarder. Okay.
Okay.
And UF, for example, let's say it is down. Just some, I'm writing for some dummy. UF equals to down. Okay. And after that, you can simply create alert. So you can create any alert. You have what you have in your hand is you can send anything to Splunk as an incident. Whatever the query with you, you can write anything, whether it is forward or down, or even if from the internal logs, anything.
Okay, so it's all in the query what we written, and it will automatically create an incident in the service.
Yes.
Got it.
So if you go to searches, reports, and alerts, not just this, let me select report. So it's an action basically, even if is there any scheduled one? For example, this is a report. You can also send an incident whenever this report runs.
Right.
It's not just specific to any alert only. So wherever you have alert actions tab, there you will find ServiceNow integration, be it alert, report, or any workflow actions. Okay. And if you want to check here at this stage, you have usage statistics and also view log event. So it will actually show you whole query is predefined, how many times this particular service now thing is used. You see the count when it is used, and some few internal logs like component is send mode alert action equals to service now incident. So like this also you can troubleshoot. You go to manage alert actions, and there you can see usage statistics or view log events. If you want to disable, you can also disable it from.
Understand, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So for an instance, there is some issue. You are not able to reach service now. So when you come to this particular query, action equals to service now instance. If there are any errors, then you will definitely see those errors here. And based on that, you can troubleshoot. If there is any issue at Splunk end or service now end, you can, based on that, you can check. Okay. Any other questions?
Nothing from it.
Okay.
Hey, I missed the initial um, half an hour of the class. So, are you on any chance are you
Yeah, yeah.
for the recording of this class?
I'll upload this in the YouTube and give the link to you guys. Are you available in the Splunk Salt community?
Yes, yes, I'm there. I'm very much there.
Okay, okay. I'll post that YouTube link there. I'll after uploading.
And one more question. Right before integrating, already we need to have a service now installed on your machine, or
Uh, so we will take a free ServiceNow instance, and this doesn't require any installation. It is available on the external network only. So when you request for an instance, okay,
Mhm.
so it will give you instance URL like you are going to like you how you access Google Drive, right? So this is
Mhm.
the URL.
Okay, so no need to have VMware and all this stuff, right? Directly I can.
I mean, you need to sign up. You don't
Okay.
need any credit card, debit card. After you are signing up, you will get an option to start building. If you click on start building, it will create an instance for you for free and it will be available. Okay. It's
Okay.
like a Splunk cloud. You don't have to install ServiceNow on your laptop.
Okay. Okay. And
Uh,
so normally we'll get some incidents in Splunk, right, based on the correlation rule and all. So
yeah.
whenever we get an incident in Splunk, then automatically the same incident can be viewed in ServiceNow after integrating. Is that the purpose of this, or?
The correlation ID's main purpose is if there is any same existing condition is met, instead
Mm.
of creating a new incident, the old incident's work notes will be updated. That is the main purpose of that correlation ID
For
from
example, I
enterprise.
assume there is a failed login. Okay, somebody is trying five.
Okay.
Somebody is trying 5 times to log into
Okay.
his machine, and you'll get a failed login. So now the failed login incident which has been generated, right? So that can be viewed in service now after this task.
So let's say you have talked to ServiceNow team, you have that correlation ID purpose and you are using that correlation purpose ID and you created one incident at 8:30 and after that you if you are keep on receiving that for every minute and the same incident work notes will be updated with the alert
Mhm. Okay, got it.
instead of creating new separate instance on the same work notes it will be updated there is an occurrence like that.
Okay. This the instance of Splunk which you are using is the free version only, right? Splunk Enterprise.
Yeah, this is free. I'm having it on localhost.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And the last question. I heard that you are going to provide Splunk admin and dev training. So any latest batch and the syllabus of that, so you can.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Any other questions regarding this integration? So we can stop the recording.
Fine, I'm fine. Thank you.